Hi, welcome to Bookie. Today we will unlock the novel 1984. Probably, few of us are complete strangers to this book. When its author, George Orwell, wrote it in 1948, combining his sharp insights and the political background of that period, analyzing humanity's possible developmental trajectory. Orwell created a sketch of a future world in the year 1984. The novel describes a stifling world of authoritarian horror. Even now, those who read Orwell's book will still find this fictitious world terrifying and fear for the future of our actual world. In 1984, people are utterly deprived of freedom, humanity is poisoned by power. Even people's thoughts must be suppressed. People live in desperate poverty. They live in ignorance, like the Walking Dead. While Orwell's descriptions may seem extreme, if we pay close attention, we will find that his logic and reasoning are not arbitrary. He writes as if these events are actually happening in the real world. In other words, this future world is entirely plausible. And in fact, in the latter half of the 20th century, following Orwell's death, his insights in the novel have repeatedly proved to be prophetic. Therefore, 1984 is not just a timeless classic, it's also a warning to the future. The world that it portrays is a constant possibility hanging over us. It reminds us to guard against authoritarian political terror. And, where there is any indication that such a world could come into fruition, fight against it. During the Cold War, views of the book were polarized. In some parts of the world, there was a wave of enthusiasm for researching and promoting Orwell's writings. They served certain political demands due to the similarities between Orwell's descriptions and the reality in oppressive totalitarian regimes. Meanwhile, other countries banned 1984 from being published. During this period, many interpretations of 1984 began to stray from the author's original intentions. The novel became a casualty in the political crossfire. Such misinterpretations not only diminish the artistic value of this great work, but also obscure Orwell's earnest and urgent words of caution to the world. So today, let us take a careful look at what his novel is really trying to express. In this Bookie, we will introduce the book 1984 in 3 parts. Part 1 summarizes the main plot of the novel and what the future world looks like under an authoritarian regime. Part 2 recounts Orwell's path to anti-authoritarianism and his specific message to the people of the world. Part 3 provides an in-depth analysis of the main events in the book, and explains why it is considered a creative masterpiece. Part 1, A Future World Under Authoritarian Control. In the year 1984, the world is divided into 3 superstates, Oceania, Eurasia, and Eastasia. Our protagonist, Winston Smith, lives in Oceania, in the city of London. The country is ruled by the one and only political party known as English Socialism, or INGSOC in the book's fictional language Newspeak. We will talk more about Newspeak later. The government of Oceania consists of 4 ministries. The Ministry of Truth is in charge of news, entertainment, education, and the arts. The Ministry of Peace is responsible for war. The Ministry of Love maintains law and order in the country, while the Ministry of Plenty controls the nation's economy. In Newspeak, they are known as Mini True, Mini Pax, Mini Love, and Mini Plenty, respectively. Winston Smith is a member of the outer party who works at the Ministry of Truth. His job is to rewrite historical records so that they conform to the currently accepted version of history. These corrections are not what we might imagine. For example, the Ministry of Plenty predicted the shoe production for the quarter would be 145 million pairs, but the actual output is only 62 million. The Ministry of Truth then has to recall all books, newspapers, periodicals, pamphlets, posters, flyers, films, videos, comics, and photographs and adjust the predicted figure to 57 million. Finally, the department destroys all the previous versions of these records, leaving only the corrected copies. In this way, the Ministry of Plenty can claim that it has successfully reached its target as usual. There will be documents to prove that every one of the party's predictions has come true. The Ministry of Truth never explicitly instructs Winston to fake any documents. Instead, it always makes reference to correcting slips, errors, misprints, or misquotations which it was necessary to put right in the interests of accuracy. However, Winston doesn't appear to consider his work as a form of counterfeiting. To him, it's simply replacing one lie with another. 62 million